Union City Red. I suspected it was more fruit juice than wine. At least one person in the city appreciated a nice cup of coffee, although I doubted Union City Blend contained even an ounce of actual coffee beans. Personally, I preferred an open fire for cooking. Definitely an improvement on the food dispensers they used to have here. Something told me the fire was not authentic.
The interrogation scene, where Songbird mimes the answers to Alonso's questions behind his back, was added to the game very early on. However, the specifics of each question and answer went through a lot of different options, each one having different versions of the clues the player would see in the apartment, and the mime Songbird would perform, with each mime ideally being open to a correct interpretation and a comedic, but still valid, misinterpretation. Our early Kinect motion capture setup proved invaluable for prototyping these, particularly as we could see if the movements were genuinely open to these dual interpretations. Some ideas we tried were miming skiing with a bit too much emphasis on pelvic thrust motion, and a dance for the train depot answer that was like doing the Running Man. In one case, my colleague Lawrence asked for a sigh animation for Songbird in this scene, and the one I captured had acting like, "Ah, he's so handsome." However, this wasn't what the designers wanted at all. They wanted a sigh like, what an idiot. Because we had an in-house, inexpensive and agile motion capture setup, the animation team were able to handle requests like these and make changes quickly and responsively. And we also learn from occasions like this one to try and ensure we've clarified design direction early, if anything's ambiguous.
Rhythmic gymnastics, first place. Amethyst or purple glass? Either way, it looked expensive. That looked like Graham and his wife on their wedding day. They looked blissfully in love. Fairy tales, courtly romances, and art books. A shelf full of sports gear and awards from years gone by. This was my only chance to find out about Graham. Leaving now wasn't an option. I was hit by the acrid smell of chemicals. The box was for a deluxe hollow plinth replacement lens. There was nothing inside. A security forces copter. I still had nightmares about those things. Twice I'd flown in them, and both times they'd crashed. I hoped I wouldn't have to risk it a third time. An impressive collection of medals, ranging from bravery to long service. Most of the medals dated back to before I was born. A sword? The blade was cracked. It looked like one of the land trains from the city walls. It was a detailed model. A uniform like the one Graham's wife wore. It was cut for someone much larger. The logo on the uniform was quite distinct. Developing fluid in trays. I hadn't seen gear like this since I was a child. Looked like these photos were taken by the city walls. You can tell a lot about a man from his shoes. In this case, that the man had no taste. The blind blocked out all the light from outside. Among the drawings were photographs, land trains, and the city walls? Espionage during the Hobart Wars. Nice to see the propaganda was still around. I couldn't access Graham's messages. I added that to my list of things to look into. A printer? It was rare to see one of those. How to survive a war. Better just to not be around to see them. Giant scorpions in the sewers. Real or fake? Unlikely. The tentacle monsters would have eaten them years ago. The calendar showed today as a holiday. Aspiration Day. When I came to Union City 10 years ago, this was very much the case. These days, I wasn't so sure. I wondered if Graham self-medicated. Anti-Hobart propaganda. Some things never change.
One of the ways in which Bass 2 was particularly challenging from an animation perspective was the large cast of characters. We have about 20 major human characters in Bass 2, and rather than sharing animations interchangeably, these characters all have different base postures. In this level, we've met Songbird, who has strong contrapposto in her posture, like a fashion model pose, and here you can see how Arana has her right hand on her hip. These details define and infuse our characters' body language, and in particular supports more unusual silhouettes like those for Wendell, Danielle and Clarence, the father in the museum, who's distinctively hunched over. It does, however, increase the workload for the animation team as we have to match motion capture animation data to the unique posture of the character each animation is for. But it is a constant reminder, running through the animation process, that you're adding personality to a truly individual character with their own, often comedic quirks and mannerisms.
Tempting, but I'd already had my monthly bath.
Welcome back, Graham. Displaying your health chart now. It has been 2 weeks since your last checkup. You have lost weight. Congratulations. It has been noted that your height has increased. Adjusting records accordingly. Scanning for medical implants. Error. Implant missing. Refreshing biomodification database. Please wait. Removing cardiac implant registration. Registering Schriebman port as new implant.
The scanner had detected my Schriebman port. which allowed me to interact with Link, the city's old network. Since then, I'd pretty much forgotten about it.
Adjusting your health rating from C to A+.
I was considerably fitter than Graham. That was good to know. Give me a checkup.
Scanning. Your physical health is within the top percentile for a Union citizen. Congratulations.
Thanks.
You are welcome, Citizen Graham.
Do you have any advice for me?
A single can of Spankles contains more than your daily dietary requirements. Look for the clown. Drink Spankles. Keep a smile on your face.
Thanks.
You are welcome, Citizen Graham.
Give me a checkup.
Scanning. Your physical health is within the top percentile for a Union citizen. Congratulations.
Thanks.
You are welcome, Citizen Graham.
That's all for now.
Due to the alteration of your physical parameters, a new uniform has been ordered and will arrive at your home shortly. Keep a smile on your face.
I was a lot healthier than Graham. In fact, I'd say Graham was downright unhealthy. I had made some headway, but I still needed to know about Graham's work and social standing. After 10 years in the Gap, I'd almost forgotten what a toilet looked like. So Graham was a cleaning supervisor? I needed to find out who he worked for. If I slipped up, I'd be exposed right away.
Excuse me, please.
I knew about Graham's health, but I still needed to find out about his work and social standing. Perhaps I'd find more on his personal terminal. I needed to find out more information if I wanted to avoid getting caught out. I knew about Graham's health, but I still needed to find out about his work and social standing. Perhaps I'd find more on his personal terminal. I needed to find out more information if I wanted to avoid getting caught out. Hello there. Chipworth, wasn't it?
Master Graham, may I say, sir is looking even more fabulous than usual today.
Why, thank you.
Has Master Graham lost weight?
Maybe. Does Master Graham look like he's lost weight?
Oh, yes, sir. And it would appear sir has gained some height as well. Bravo.
Tell me, Chipworth, who was that woman just now?
But that was sir's wife, Madame Songbird.
Yes, of course. My wife.
Is sir quite feeling himself?
It's fine. I've just been having a difficult few days.
How serendipitous that the well-being mentor is here then, is it not, sir?
I need you to do something for me.
Just say the word, sir.
Please, can you do the laundry, Chipworth?
The laundry basket is in the bedroom, sir. I wouldn't want to disturb the mentor.
Seems sensible. Tell me about that woman.
Woman? Can sir possibly be referring to his good lady wife?
Humor me. For instance, her name would be...
Madame Songbird. Clearly, sir is not feeling quite himself today. Sir might recall he even forgot dear old Chipworth's name earlier.
Who?
Me, sir.
So, what do you do, Chipworth?
Whatever sir desires.
Can you juggle?
Sadly, sir, one's capabilities are restricted to the minutiae of domestic service.
Shame.
We are what we are, sir.
At least as far as anyone else needs to know. Who was that guy in here when I arrived?
Is Sir referring to the gentleman currently probing your wife in the bedroom?
I guess I am.
That would be the Honourable Mentor Alonso, Senior Officer at the Ministry of Well-being. I believe that he would like to see you next.
He would?
Mentor Alonso indicated that there were one or two anomalies in Master Graham's records. Public voting, kudos levels, employment, whereabouts within the city.
Just some minor things, then.
Consumption patterns, biosigns, indication of physical existence.
I think I get the picture.
But I'm sure there's a simple answer, Master Graham.
This mentor, what will he ask me about?
The Ministry of Well-being is always concerned, sir, with a citizen's well-being.
Well-being?
That's right, sir. A citizen's health and happiness, their relationships and social life, all of the utmost importance to the Ministry. He might also inquire if Sir needs any support in the workplace or similar.
Why exactly was I selected?
I believe Sir's 2-week-long work, poll and social hiatus may have raised some concerns. Just be yourself, sir, and you will be fine.
Of course, because I am Graham Grundy. Have a super day, Chipworth.
Serving you, sir, every day is super.
A cavalcade of cryptids. Someone believed in monster stories. Looked like these photos were taken by the city walls. The council was made up of 5 ministries. Each ministry had their own logo and distinctive color scheme. From the color of his uniform, it was clear that Graham worked for the Ministry of Comfort. I knew quite a bit about Graham's work and health, but I figured I could learn more if I found his kudos records. couldn't access Graham's messages. I added that to my list of things to look into. Fairy tales, courtly romances, and art books. It seemed everybody in Union City had a kudos level. I still didn't have a clue about Graham's. Perhaps I'd find more on his personal terminal. I needed to find out more information if I wanted to avoid getting caught out. The council was made up of 5 ministries. Each ministry had their own logo and distinctive color scheme. The council was made up of 5 ministries. Each ministry had their own logo and distinctive color scheme. A chart showing that Graham's kudos score had recently dropped. I wondered what had caused such a sharp decline. I had learned all I was going to from Graham's apartment. I hoped it would be enough. If I was going to convince the mentor, I had to be sure I knew enough about Graham. I couldn't keep them waiting any longer. From that point on, I had to be Graham Grundy, cleaning supervisor.
Darling, I thought you were going to freshen up.
I was, but I missed the sweet sound of your voice.
Oh, Graham, always the romantic. But please don't kiss me until you've showered.
Wouldn't dream of it. Besides, I couldn't let Alfonso here
Alonso?
monopolize my lovely wife for a moment longer.
In which case, shall we begin?
Of course. Shall we take a seat in the lounge? It was now or never.
So, Mr. Grundy.
Mentor Alonso, what would you like to know?
Ah, well, straight to the point. I like that. As I was explaining to your dear wife earlier, there have been some issues with your activity records of late.
Issues? What do you mean?
Mr. Grundy, a word to the wise. This will be much smoother if you leave the questions to me. Now, whilst your records load, remind me, in which ministry are you employed?
Comfort. I'm a cleaning supervisor.
Yes, of course. Ah, here we go. Graham Grundy, 42, cleaning supervisor with the Ministry of Comfort. Cleaning supervisors require Class C exertive activity certification. I trust that your health rating is sufficient.
I did drop down a bit, but I'm back to Class A+ now.
Excellent, excellent. Very good. So, with that in mind, I will mark you as fit for work, barring any other issues. Now, obviously, your kudos level will have fluctuated due to your absence. You're a C+ right now. I note you used to be much higher. Do go on, Mr. Grundy.
B.
Yes, well, you'll be back up there in no time. Well, that is all I need to check off. But I'd be remiss if I didn't offer you all the extra support and guidance that you need.
Mentor?
When someone goes off-grid, there's usually some underlying trouble. And as a mentor, I like to think of myself as a bit of a troubleshooter.
Of course. I appreciate the concern.
So, let's get to the bottom of all this confusion. Dig a bit deeper, eh?
Deeper? Yes, right. By all means, Mentor.
Tell me about your workplace. I trust there are no issues.
The park is a lovely place to work.
Interesting. Your file says land trains and extra city commerce.
Yes. What I meant was the place that the land trains park up. That always needs cleaning, too.
We are, of course, very grateful for your service, Mr. Grundy. But there we come to the crux of the matter. Your absence. 15 days is a long time. This is, of course, why my ministry has become involved in your case. We have been concerned for your well-being.
I'm fine. Better than ever, in fact.
Excellent. Now, speaking of your health, I note you had some surgery last year. Tell me about your implants. Are they working effectively? Please.
You mean my heart regulators? Nothing to worry about. As you can see, the beat goes on.
Yes. Well, I must say you're in remarkable shape considering your medical history. Of course, your mental well-being is just as important to us. How are you getting on with your rather peculiar hobbies?
You mean my photography?
I do, yes.
You can't beat the feeling of an old-time film camera.
I can imagine. You have an eye for composition. Although I don't understand your interest in using such archaic technology. Choosing to fiddle with knobs rather than availing of ministry-recommended filters, stabilization, automatic archive, and data retrieval, all courtesy of Minos. If we can't see what you create, how can we share in your interests?
What can I say? I like a challenge.
I'm sure you do, Graham. Ah, well. I have a busy day of appointments, so sadly we must conclude our little chat there.
It's been a pleasure, Mentor.
Hasn't it? So with that in mind, perhaps you can tell me where you've been for the last 2 weeks.
What? Right. Yes, where have I been the last 2 weeks?
Well?
Okay, so the last 2 weeks, I was working at the land train facility, of course. Cleaning. I'm a cleaning supervisor. And while I was cleaning, I must have bumped my head. The next thing I knew, I was in the middle of nowhere, still on the train. 2 weeks later, the train returned to the city. Cleaner than it's ever been, I might add.
My poor darling! How awful! What a dreadful thing to happen!
I believe I have all the answers I need from you.
Well, that's a relief.
I'm sure it is, Mr. Grundy.
Well, thank you for stopping by.
Just a teeny tiny thing before I go. There appears to be 1 or 2 anomalous results here.
Anomalous? That doesn't sound good.
It may be nothing. But here's the thing. I get strange readings when I scan your U-chip. Any idea why?
Maybe it got damaged when I fell.
Possibly. It's as plausible as everything else you've told me today. You see, the only other time I've seen anything like this is when a U-chip has been tampered with. No one would have done that now, would they?
Tampered with? I didn't even know that you could do that.
Graham's a supervisor, not a subversive mentor.
Yes, a supervisor, not a subversive.
Damaged when he fell. Request analysis. Now, it's clear to me that your recent concussion has had some deleterious effects on your memory. You need some time to recuperate.
Of course, mentor. I shall see to it that he gets the care he needs.
Oh, I have no doubt that you will. And to support you in this, I converted some of your kudos to grant you both some time off work.
Our kudos? Wait, how much?
Oh, nothing too severe. Just enough to give you some time to reflect. You may notice a slight dip in your social tier, however.
But the Aspiration Day Gala tonight.
Yes, won't it be something? I am so looking forward to it. Anyway, keep a smile on your face.
You too?
Good day, Mr. and Mrs. Grundy.
What in the name of Joey do you call that sorry performance?
Maybe I could have tried harder.
Look, Buster, everything was fine until you turned up. I'd dragged my kudos all the way up to Class B for that gala. I don't want time off. I want my gala tickets. If there is anything wrong with Graham's U-chip, you would better sort it out sharpish before Alonso's analysis comes back. Who even are you? Where's Graham? Are you that contact he kept ranting about?
Whatever Graham had been up to, it had gotten him killed. I had to come clean with his wife. There's no easy way to say this, but I'm afraid Graham is dead.
What? How? Where?
I found him. In the Gap.
The Gap? What was the idiot doing in the Gap? Was that where he was always sneaking off to? Ugh!
A child, Milo, was abducted from a village out there and brought into Union City. And I think Graham was somehow connected.
Sure, and pigs fly. Listen, stranger. I'm sure you can understand this has been a rather harrowing day. This is all too much for me right now.
Tell me about it.
So, I'm gonna do some damage control on social media. In the meantime, I guess that officially it is your home, so you can stay, but this is my bedroom, and that one is yours. No cute ideas.
Understood. Songbird seemed rattled by the news. Not surprising. But whoever this contact of Graham's was, I suspected they were the key to finding Milo.
Excuse me, please.